It's week 123. My name's Adam Goss, and you're watching my renovation on Iris Street. Last week, I said I would finish all the drywall mudding this week. I get that close, but there's still a little bit left next week. Let's check it out. The goal of this week is to finish mudding. I don't quite make it, but I get very close. Mudding in general takes some time because when it dries, it shrinks. This means each application requires 2 to 3 coats to achieve a smooth finish. Each coat requires a day to dry, followed by a quick sand, so the days add up quickly. I'm also a bit of a perfectionist, so mudding is taking me even longer. Good evening, guys. To start things off with, we've got a slight problem over here. This measures 26 inches. The problem with that is my counters have a depth of 24 inches and the countertop overhang is another 1.5 inches. So that brings me up to 25.5 inches. That only leaves me 1/2 inch on this wall for trim. Now, I could notch my trim around the countertop opening, but I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to extend this wall by 3 inches. I'm adding material to the kitchen and dining room openings. I add 2x4s to the opening, ensuring they're square before nailing them down and covering them with drywall. Of course, this means more mudding and sanding to ensure a seamless joint. I continue by sanding mudding touch-ups from last week. For better or worse, I'm a perfectionist. When I see a joint that could use another coat of mud, I give it another coat of mud. The stairwell, being a centerpiece of the home, is an area I want to look perfect, so I give it some extra attention. As mentioned before, mud shrinks as it dries, so I continue adding mud in places that are lacking. Downstairs, I'm adding patches to my gangs. To my horror, I recently discovered that many gangs in my drywall were cut too large. Too large and the faceplate won't cover the gap, so I have to mud, patch, and mud them until the openings are to spec. With yesterday's mud dry, I can sand it smooth. I'm really sick of sanding, but it has to be done. I like to put on a pair of earmuffs to drown out the noise while at work. In a way, it's like a quiet sound cave where I can be alone with my thoughts, like what I want for dinner, or where I want to go on holiday, or how much sanding I have left. On Saturday, my niece had her first solo and ensemble performance. I hope she doesn't hate me for putting this in, but I couldn't leave it out. Music is a huge part of my life, and it brings me so much joy to see her enjoying it too. Even though she picked trumpet over the French horn, I have to give her credit for how much progress she's made in her first 6 months. She's gone from chunking out songs like hot cross buns to playing eighth notes with slurs and dynamic variation. Her note accuracy is pretty good too. Lila, if you're watching, great work, have fun, and happy practicing. On Sunday, my wonderful mother and father have joined me for a day of mudding, sanding, and cleaning. We're applying patches and mud to all the gangs that were cut too big. For the first time in months, the floor is vacuumed and mopped. Ironically, I don't have a mop right now, so my dad handily repurposed a sanding pad with a microfiber towel. It worked pretty good. In the evening, I keep the momentum going on odds and ends, like this little drywall patch under the laundry DWV. It's not critical, but I'll be glad I did this down the road. I start mudding my three-way corners and the inside edges of all my window jambs. These are going to take some time, so I'll just let the footage roll. On my lunch break, I add mud underneath these windows. It's another area that was lacking, and I try to mud things as I see them so I don't forget. After work, I clock a trail run at the local wildlife preserve before heading back home for more sanding. A lot of this mud work has been patching, which means I'm leaving some excess. The good news is that as it dries, it'll still have some excess, which means I'll only need to do this one coat. The bad news is that that one coat requires a bit of sanding. Next, I tackle the second part of my three-ways. Three-ways are the corners where three tape joints meet. Yesterday I mudded the left side, so tonight I'm mudding the right side, and tomorrow I'll mud the ceiling. Tonight I sand all the window jambs. Yesterday I mudded the inner sides, and tonight I'll mud the inner tops. I need to sand yesterday's mud so that my top jambs can be mudded cleanly. It takes time, but the end result is smooth mud with clean, beautiful edges. That's more mudding than I'd like to do in a lifetime, but there will be one more week of it next week. And then I'm done. Thanks for watching, and until then, happy renovating.